Hey y'all. I've literally not been live on this page in so long. Doing this podcast with somebody special though. I'm really excited. Hey Ebony. Let me see if I can get you to request. I think you have to request to join. Okay, there we go. Hi Ebony.
Hi, good morning.
Good
Um,
morning. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm trying to see if I can actually. Oh, okay. All right. I thought I can title it and do all those things. Okay. All right. Let's get into it.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm loving the purple hair.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, for of you guys who don't know, this is Ebony Westwood. She is the CEO of Fifth in Westwood, which is an image and consulting firm. And I'm just so excited to be here talking with you today about your journey, entrepreneurship, motherhood. I'm just so blessed to have you on.
Nice. I'm excited to be here too.
So let's just jump right into it. So I thought no better topic to talk about today than daring to dream bigger than yourself. You are a girl from Virginia who has overcome so many obstacles to get to where you are now, and you are just shining in the light. But I think the first question that I would like to ask you is like, 10 years ago, would you ever have seen yourself here? Like, is this somewhere you always knew you would be? How did this happen for you?
Absolutely. And I say that with boldness and with confidence. I absolutely saw myself here in the space of the fashion industry, entrepreneurship, motherhood, um, ownership,
Mm-hmm.
freedom of time, freedom, financial freedom, which I'm still working my way towards. I've always seen myself here, which is why I am here because I visualize myself this lifestyle 10 years ago.
Right?
I was very persistent. I stayed on track. I stayed on a course. I kept with God's vision, and this is the results. And this is, if you ask me, I feel like sometimes it's only the beginning. Other days, I feel like, nah, my beginning was 10 years ago when I was
Right.
blessed to have that vision, and I'm just still in the process of it. And I think the thing is sometimes we have to really change our thoughts and our perspective and really start to enjoy the process. Some of us have been in the thick of it for a while and just feel like, oh, I'm just getting started. It's like, no, you've been started. It starts most of the times with the vision, with the prayer, with the fasting and all those things. So I would say for me, yes, to really back in and answer your question, yes, I absolutely saw myself here 10 years ago. Probably more than that, 10 years plus. And we are in the process of it, and I'm enjoying the process of this journey of entrepreneurship and all things Ebony Westwood.
Yes. You said something so powerful about vision. And I think vision is one of those things like we get the energy, we get the excitement, we want to do it. But the longevity and the consistency for us is sometimes hard to keep. How did you keep your endurance and strength in running this 10-year plus long race?
Um, I think one, it starts with my character, like my
Mhm.
true core and character. So for me, prior to starting my business, I was a cheerleader, which has a lot to do with building your core characters, especially in like elementary, middle school age groups, right? So I started, well, let me backtrack a little bit more. I started dancing, liturgical dancing, by the way,
Yeah.
at 3. And then as as I, continued to grow older, I got involved with more activities such as cheerleading. And you asked my father, he tried to put me in every sport. I used to play basketball. Some of y'all probably don't know that. It was for a rec league team. I think it was for the Weiss Thomas, but who cares? To the death of me, I used to play ball, so don't play with me, right? But yeah, to answer your question, so I think starting off around group of other women and men and leaders and coaches, people like that, they poured into my life. And they showed me accountability, they showed me teamwork, they showed me independency, like they showed me all those things, right? They taught me those things starting at the age of 3. So as time went on, 10 years later, I'm 13, I'm still involved with activities such as dance and cheer. And then my father was just really big on me touring, like any opportunity that came with cheerleading or anything that came with probably like becoming the celeb kid and putting money in his pocket. He was down to do. So like when I used to cheer for this rec league team, y'all, and y'all know what rec lead is. Like you wore the slouch socks, you wore your outfit, you didn't quite have the top-notch cheerleading outfit, so we wore the shorts and the slouch socks and probably the Reebok shoes, and tied up our tops and stuff to look like official cheerleaders. And so I remember going to competition with that cheer squad. Oh my, we were so ghetto. But I remember going to cheerleading competition with that cheerleading squad. And at that competition, they chose selective cheerleaders that they thought were some of the best. And that created an opportunity for us to go to Hawaii and perform in Hawaii for the Pro Bowl, which is either a game before or after the Super Bowl. So it was just as popular as the Super Bowl, but it was called the Pro Bowl, right? And I got selected. Me and a few other young ladies got selected. And my daddy, he took that opportunity and he ran with it. And he took every dime, every penny, every nickel that he had, and he invested into my opportunity of performing at the Pro Bowl. So I would say between probably like 4th and 5th grade, all the way up to probably like 7th and 8th grade, I performed at the Pro Bowl show every year for about 5 or 6 years straight. So again, that was the independency, that was the leadership. Like there is something in you that is greater than your circumstances or what life may throw at you. And I thank God for just that community in my life at that time. Because of them, it was then when the vision was given to me by God, I was like, oh, I'm equipped. I'm capable. I'm able to do this. And I don't know what it looks like, but I knew that I was called to be in leadership and to influence and impact people by creating opportunities and pouring back into their lives. And because I was in love with fashion, and my peers at that time they could dress a little better than me. Like they knew how to style slouch socks. They knew how to style camis over polo button-ups and stuff, like, because they knew how to do that better than me. I didn't think that I was equipped to be in the fashion industry. I didn't think that I would have an in-house name brand as
Right.
so I didn't think any of that. I actually started off as Style by EBG, and I was cool with that until again someone else came along in my journey and they saw bigger and they saw better and they said, no, we're going to call this company Fifth and Westwood. So it's a lot. That's a deep conversation within itself. But again, because of the people that poured into my life, and my father being intentional and my mother being intentional with putting me a part of communities and organizations that and teams, they show you how to be a team member, they show you how to work together, they show you accountability, they show you all those things. Because I was blessed to be a part of those type of opportunities at such a young age, which they say children at the age they soak up everything like sponges. Because I was so blessed to be a part of communities like that and opportunities like that, it was then until when God was just like, all right, I got something else for you. And I was just like, all right, I don't think I would be, like I said, a brand where people would depend on me for their style and their image. But I knew I wanted to pour into people and impact the world and give opportunities and show people. Like, I just wanted so much. So long story short, that's why I'm here today. So yeah, like, I hope that answered your question.
It did very much. cultivating them gifts when you were young, I want to get back into this. Did you see fashion and image consulting then? Did you see yourself already having those gifts and talents kind of in fashion? I know you talked a little bit about your friends styling the socks and styling the t-shirt. Is that all what led you to now? How did you get into image consulting?
Yeah, so again, like my peers was because they were such a huge influence around me.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the way that they styled their clothes, and that's when I also learned that styling was also a form of expression, or fashion
Yeah.
also a form of expression of attitude and personality. Um, I that was just, I guess, the only option that I figured I could influence the world through, right?
Mm.
Because I didn't have clothes like that growing up. Like, I didn't care about how I dress. And it's funny and ironic, right? Because growing up, I was the popular girl. I was always called beautiful. But I think I was called popular or titled popular and beautiful. Not that I'm not beautiful, right? But I really felt like at that age in like my middle school and high school years, I felt like I was titled popular and beautiful because my mom worked in the school system. And so it was like I was always Miss Allen's daughter, right? So that's Miss
Oh.
Allen's daughter. That's Miss Allen's daughter. And that kind of boosted my head a little bit because I'm like, all right, I'm Miss Allen's daughter, right? Even though I knew that from yay high, it was like,
Mm.
it was different being around people and people calling you that. So being influenced by that. And then, but then again, when I go home, like, I'm no longer Miss Allen's daughter. I am my mother's daughter, and my mom is working a 9 to 5 like y'all mothers are. And like, my fashion isn't up to par. Like, my confidence, girl, I don't think if it wasn't for those people at that time, my confidence, I don't know where I would have gotten this boost of confidence from. So I just say
Right.
that to say, like, I felt like I had nothing to offer the people, especially in the fashion industry. I felt like I don't dress. I don't shop. My mom and I, we window shop. My father may take me shopping here and there for sure, but my father was more so invested in activities, cheerleading, dancing, those things. So
Right.
fashion just wasn't something that I thought that I would have an impact in. Um, but I can't wait to do a documentary on this. I remember standing in front of my house, and I was like, I think in middle or high school. I remember standing in front of my house, and I was just standing there. I was looking around, just like in my neighborhood. I was looking around me. And that was then where God placed a vision in my life. And he said, you're going to be called to make an impact on people's lives and we're through the fashion industry. And I was like,
Wow.
friend, I don't know how to dress. I don't know nothing about colors, style, silhouettes, none of that. And so I remember, but again, he deposited that in my spirit, and I said, okay, I'm willing to do this because you're saying I'm going to make an impact on people's lives. And as long as I'm making an impact on people's lives, I don't care which route you take me through. I'm just willing to do it because I was also that friend that I was that go-to friend. Anytime my girlfriends was going through something, or anytime we wanted to go somewhere or do something, like, I was the go-to friend. They would be like, Eb, ask your mom or ask your dad, or Eb, I need $20, or Eb, I got this and then that and the third going on. Like, I was the go-to friend that always either gave advice or, gave them $1, or in some way I impacted their lives and changed their lives, right? And so, because I was that go-to friend and I already knew what type of impact I was, like, putting on people or giving to people, I knew that I could say yes to what God called me to as long as I can impact people. But never have I ever thought it would be through fashion. I thought maybe it would be, I was like, I can consult with people because I love
Mm.
talking people through their issues and out of their issues. But then I'm like, God, how are we going to intertwine fashion into this consultation? But then as you grow and you become you learn more information and knowledge about the industry, I then learned, like, okay, there are image consultants, where you sit.
Right.
It's almost like a therapy session before the styling session. You sit, you talk to your clients, you ask them questions that are going to trigger them to really pour out why they wear what they wear, why they feel comfortable in the clothes that they feel comfortable in, or why they choose that color, choose to wear black, blue, green. Like, you're consulting, you're working through issues, and you're bringing them out of it. So once I learned that piece years later, I was like, okay, I feel confident in doing that. But I, believe it or not, and my good sis Autumn is up here, and she'll tell you, I say this to this day. Again, I say yes to God's vision because I knew I can consult and I can talk to people. And the more I learned about the industry and the way I go about doing that, I was excited, but I still wasn't confident in styling. But then I reflect back on the vision in his word and just my own character. And I knew that I also wanted to create opportunities for people. So I said, okay, God, if I can consult and talk to people through their issues and through their problems and transform their mindset so that they can see themselves for who you called them to be, right? At the highest power. If I can do that, then we have to create an opportunity where I can now hire other stylists to come in and style them, because that's just not my confident piece. Like,
Right.
I think everybody looks good in a white tee and blue jeans, but just because I think that doesn't mean that everybody wants to wear white tees and blue jeans. So I needed to create an opportunity where now I can bring in stylists to work with these clients. So after I talk to them, I can then hand them off to a stylist, and now a stylist can bring their wardrobe to life. So for me, I was okay with the moment that was deposited into my spirit. I was okay with it because I knew that I can create an impact not only on my clients' lives, but now you're telling me I can create an impact on aspiring stylists and stylists that are seasoned in this industry. You're telling me I can create more job opportunities for them. Oh, count me in, Frank. Count me in. And that's just what it's been this entire time.
I think there was so much that you just
Yeah,
said in that was so powerful. No, 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 not so much
I
like
get
so
that
much,
a
but
lot.
so much that was rich, so much that was powerful in that. And it's like your vulnerability and saying yes to God led you to the place that you were really supposed to be at.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's just like doing what you never thought you would do ended up being the best thing
the
that you
thing,
ever did.
the best
And
thing.
it's like so many people in this age right now always talk about their dream job, but for you, it really seems like your dream came when you mix purpose with your work, and you get to do that. Just like you were saying, when you were younger, your friends always came to you. You were the go-to girl. Now you're getting to be the go-to girl for stylists, for TED Talks, for
Yeah.
different things. And
Oh,
it's just like it all came full circle. It's who you are. And that's just so powerful. I want to talk a little bit about your accomplishments because, girl, you have done everything. You've been everywhere, styling almost for Beyonce. I say that all the time. But I want to highlight your TED Talk that you did. I want to talk a little bit about that. But can you first give the people like 3 words, what to describe that experience? How was that? What was that like?
3 words.
Just three.
Um, Gosh, it was refreshing. I believe she wasn't our first client of the year, but she was one of the first, like, top 5 clients of the year. So it was very refreshing. Because we haven't provided services to our clients probably since the pandemic.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, it was very refreshing. Another word, gosh, Lee. It was, what's the word? I know what I want to say. It was a lot of lessons
Mm.
in that experience for sure that I can't wait to share with my fellow stylists, and because it was a lot of lessons that we learned. So refreshing, a lot of lessons. And I think the other word that I can describe that is just grateful or gratitude, like, because we were called for that opportunity. And
Mm.
that got me in the chokehold alone. It's like, you could have called somebody else. God could have put somebody else in her, in her uh, funnel or view,
Right.
and just allow her to call someone else. But she called us, and
Wow.
that's a blessing. That's a blessing, especially for us to have been out of service or not providing services for almost a year, and to get back in and kick off the year like that. that was amazing. So yeah, refreshing, a lot of lessons, and so much gratitude.
How exactly did you get that opportunity?
Y'all really want to know?
We want to
um,
know.
well, this client found us. I want to say she found us on Instagram, but she did her research
Okay.
and she contacted us through our Instagram page. Um, so yeah, so this particular client, Miss Dr. Plummer, I love her to death. Love her personality to death too. Dr. Plummer um, owns 100% of a mental health space, right? Therapy
Okay.
space, right? And so at the time, I was searching for therapists here in the local area or just anywhere. Anybody I get my hands on, I was searching for them. And she was recommended to me from a few folks within my community. So I went to her page. I went to her business page, and I love how on her business page she introduced all of her therapists and maybe like 3 fun facts about them. So at that point, I was able to really read through them, see which ones I related to the most. Um, I don't think I knew at the time that she was the owner of the company, but I read through her bio and like maybe 2, 3 other bios, and and the ones that I resonated with, I was called and then set up my appointment. Again, I don't think at this time I knew that she was the owner, so it was something about her. Oh, not something. Just being transparent. Some of the common interests that we shared was she's a hundred, like I said, Black owned business. She is a part of the LGBT community, and I think it was a book that she read that I also read, and I said, okay, I like this about this woman, so that when I go in my therapy sessions, I can talk. We could share similar perspectives, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up, I think, going to her page directly, her personal page directly. And I saw that she was very bold about being a part of the LGBT community. She is a married woman, so that also, is given why she's super bold in that community. And to the point that when she have interviews, like she talks about the LGBT community and she talks about mental health awareness and she
Wow.
bridges the gaps between those two communities, right? And so when I saw that, I was just like, I comment on her page and I said, hey, thank you so much for being so bold and talking about the LGBT community on platforms such as, you know, it was so many different platforms that she got interviewed for. So I was just pretty much, expressing gratitude and saying thank you for representing us in a space where most people don't talk about the LGBT community, right? And so then that was maybe like a week prior to her reaching out to us. Now it's funny because when she called me, I have 2 phones. I have a personal phone, I have a business phone. So when she called me on my business line, my assistant knows, I think Alex is up here too, but my assistant and I knew at the time that I was commuting to take my daughter to and from school. So I had mommy and me lunch breaks
Mm-hmm.
between like 2 and 3 every day, right? Monday through Friday. I got a phone call from her on my mommy break. Now listen, you call me on my mommy break, I don't care what phone you calling. You gonna get the hello. Friend,
Right.
I'm tired. Okay. I done drove all the way across country to go pick up my child. We trying to eat like right now. I'm on break. So you gonna get
Right.
the break voice. And that's exactly what she got. So when she called, she was like, I said, hello. And she was like, hi, this is and I don't think she said her name. I think the way that if I remember correctly, I think she introduced herself as if she was a PR to herself, right?
Oh.
Like it was her PR calling me. So she was like, "Hi, this is such and such with such and such," and we got it. And I also thought that they were calling to interview me because she was like, "Got an interview coming up. We want you," and I was just like, "Okay." How can like it's not connecting for me because right now I'm in mommy brain, I'm in mommy mode. I don't even want to talk about business, but I'm like, okay, like how can I help you? This is Ebony. How can I help you? And then
Mm-hmm.
she goes on and on and on. And by the time, I guess, girl, I think when she finally said her name or something about TED Talk and went on about the opportunity, basically why she was calling, I said, oh, I said, I said, hi. I said, how are you? Yes, this is Ebony Westwood. How can I help you? Girl, I cleared up my throat. So, and I remember me and my daughter, we was in tropical smoothie line. Honey, when I say I needed energy, that's why we were there. I needed energy. And I was just out of it. But I think by the time, obviously, by the time it clicked to me, I was just like, oh, hi, how are you? Yes, this is Ebony Westwood. How can I help you? You know, and I just jumped into that mode so fast. I ain't gonna say the other lady's name, but I jumped into
Right.
that Westwood mode so fast, and I was able to get her, you know, from a consultation with us to actually being able to work with her for the TED Talk experience, and
Yeah.
that was super dope. That was super dope.
Girl, that is amazing. How did it feel styling somebody who was also a member of the LGBTQ community?
Whew! I never even thought about that actually. Um, I don't even think that was a thought that crossed my mind during
Mm-hmm.
the process of styling her, because in the process of styling, right, you go through the consultation, you're getting to know your client, and they're humans just like us,
Right.
right? Because when you're first on the phone with them, you want to come off as Westwood, right? You want to come off as the professional person. You're knowledgeable, you know everything, because you want them to not, you want them to trust you, especially if you haven't like met them before. And so that the goal is to get them to trust you immediately so that you can actually start to funnel them through your services, right? And you make them a client. So for me, all I focused on was just the trust, getting her to trust me. I didn't think about the LGBT community, even though that was probably, like, not probably, I know out of the top 3 reasons, that was one of the reasons why she decided to go with us. And if you all go to our Fifth and Westwood page, we've done a series of interviews with her. And one of the questions was, why Fifth and Westwood? And she said she loved supporting Black-owned businesses and LGBT community businesses that LGBT, businesses that support the LGBT community, right? So I think that for her, that was a focus for her while working with me. But
Mm-hmm.
while me working with her, it was never a thought that crossed my mind. She was just, I fell in love with her personality. I fell in love with her character. And I
Mm.
really fell in love with her in a platonic way, by the way, when she hit
Yeah.
the stage. When she hit the
Wow.
stage, because the process of styling her, and I had a stylist work with us. I partnered with a stylist who may be still on this live, Autumn Naomi. Shout out to Autumn Naomi out in Atlanta. Really, really, really dope stylist. That's my sister and that's my friend and that's my heart. I go on for days about Autumn, so I'm gonna go here for a second. I'm gonna come back. But I partnered with the stylist to style Dr. Plummer for this opportunity, and I also partnered with a tailor to just really alter her look from a dress to a jumpsuit. We'll get into that probably later. But again, throughout the process, all I wanted to focus on was just really connecting with her. Again, she was one of our top 5 clients for the year. I was just getting, back out there in the field. Again, sometimes also dealing with imposter syndrome and like, I'm not the best stylist. I don't think I'm up to this, up for this and things like that. So like really fighting through my own demons, I just really focused on connecting with her. And the thought of us being a part of the same community didn't really quite cross my mind often, even though I styled her a lot at her home. So I saw her family, I saw her wife, I saw her kids. Like, you know, there were plenty of times where LGBT could have been the top conversation, the top topic of the conversation, but it wasn't about that for us. It was really just about really nailing this look. And I think because we took the look from a dress to a jumpsuit, that
Mm.
was the conversation every time. It was, oh my gosh, I'm excited about this. Oh my gosh, this looks good. Oh my gosh, let's try this. It was about the experience more than some of the things that we shared, in common personally. So
Right.
yeah, that was just never really a thought. But when she hit the stage and she talked about mental health awareness and she talked a little bit about the LGBT community, I think maybe at that moment I was just like, yo, I know for sure at that moment I was like, yo, she's dope.
Yeah.
She's dope. And like, she's doing this for us. And that was probably the only time that oh yeah, she is a part of the LGBT community. Like that was probably the only time that they came across my mind. But other than that, it was just really about the experience, and we were just having fun with it.
Wow.
Mhm.
I want to touch back on the mommyhood part, okay? So there was a quote that I found on your Instagram. I wanted to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, let's
So
do
it
it.
said, so it said 10 years ago in 2011, my world shifted. I had to do things differently. Becoming a first-time single mom was and sometimes still is challenging. From suffering with trauma and lacking a healthy physical and emotional support system as a new mom, to experiencing 5 years, y'all, of postpartum depression that led to imposter syndrome. Fast forward, I began to be a mom on purpose and show up as that powerful mom I always wanted to be. Before I became a mom, I thought it was my children who would be doing all the growing. I had no idea how much growing I would be doing
Yeah.
too. Ebony, let's talk about this 5 years of postpartum because we're talking about mental health, we're talking about
Yeah.
mommyhood. How in the world were you in postpartum depression for 5 years? Nobody knew. Nobody was checking on you. Did you even know?
Nobody was checking on me. Did I even know? Um,
5 years.
yeah. Did I know? I think to be transparent, I don't think I knew. I don't even because I didn't know. I've heard of postpartum depression, but I didn't. I wasn't the mom that took time out to do the mommy classes before giving birth, right? Which I believe that's where they teach you about postpartum depression. So because I didn't like take the time out to invest in any education and gaining some knowledge about postpartum depression, I didn't know what I was up against. And I think during the delivery process now, mind you, it's been 11 years for me, so bear with me. But I think during the delivery process, I think they show you a video, or I think they show you a video maybe right after you give birth, where they show you how to basically pack the baby's bag, pack up the baby, how to care for the baby, how to show the baby to latch on, a little bit about the postpartum depression, and then the end. And here's your pamphlet. Good luck. Best to you and your kid. If I see you again, see you again. If I don't, I don't, right? And so if I remember correctly now, um, that was probably the only piece of information that I ever learned about postpartum depression. So as time went on, and at this time I was living in North Carolina when I gave birth to my daughter, and then like a year and a half to 2 years later, we moved to Atlanta. I remember, and I was only like 20, 21. Looking back on it, it's like, dang, girl, you were young. But in the thick of it, I felt like I was 31. I felt grown. I
Mm-hmm.
felt, because again, my childhood, I've done a lot of things, right? I was a part of organizations that built me to be strong and to be independent and all that. So at 21, I thought, hell yeah, I could pack up a baby and move to Atlanta and not think twice about it, right?
Right.
So as when I was living in Atlanta, going throughout my days and opportunities where I had a chance to work, on set with this client, or I was also working for BB. I had an opportunity to grow and climb the ladder and become key holder and manager. I had so many opportunities. I think in those opportunities, that's when it hit me like, you don't, like, you got a real responsibility, and that you can't just like accept a position that's requiring you to have a flexible Monday through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. When you have a kid that you have to make sure she gets to daycare, make sure she's picked up, make sure she's eat. Who's gonna watch her on the weekends? Like, who's gonna watch her on Sunday? Like, or even when I had opportunities to be on set for a long period of hours overnight, because a lot of those being on set for videos and things like that, video shoots, photo shoots, sometimes in Atlanta, like that thing
Mm-hmm.
could go on from 6 in the afternoon to 6 the next day, right? Who's going to watch your kid? So I think in those moments, that's when I realized, like, yo, I got a whole human being I got to care for, and I don't know how to care for this kid. And I think at that moment, I just kind of went AWOL. Like, because I didn't know how to do it and I was living out there on my own, I just said either you sink or you swim, and I chose to sink. I
Wow.
I chose to sink because it was just me and her out there. And I made it look easy. Like, I made it look like I knew what I was doing. I made it look like I had it all together. I made it look like I had the money to take, to pay the nanny downstairs to watch her. Girl, when they say fake it till you make it, honey, I was living. I was the if there was a, what they say, I can't think of the word, but basically, if there was a person that looked like fake it till you make it, I was she. I was her. Okay. So like, mm. So going through that, my output as a mom became like less involved in as a mother and in my child's life. It was more like I felt more like my emotions. That's what I'm saying. My emotions towards her. It was I had less involvement and more. I felt more like you're just this human being that everywhere I go, you gotta go, and I gotta take care of you. I gotta feed you. I gotta because you know because I have to. You're here, so I gotta do it. But there was no more emotional impact bigger than that. It was just that. That's all she got from me. And again, because during the day I can make it look easy, but at night when I went home and my head hit the pillow, I felt like I was trapped in the four walls in my bedroom every single night. Because I was also dealing with a fresh divorce. I was dealing with a fresh baby. I was dealing with being a new mom. I was dealing with, and then like before I moved to Atlanta, I had a great job, a great paying job. I worked my way through college. And I also had got a job working at Forever 21 as a visual merchandiser. So I felt like I was in my dream. I was living my dream job, my dream career, right? I was making crazy money. Like at that time, well, I was getting paid $14 an hour. And I think that they're just starting to do that 10 years later, right? So at that time, $14 an hour, when rent was way cheaper than what it is now,
Mm-hmm.
I was in my prime, honey. And this is when I was living in Raleigh, right? And then on top of my $14 an hour, I was also still living in the same city as my daughter's father. So if I needed childcare, I can just, take her there to him. Versus in Atlanta, I ain't had nobody. So that stopped, obviously. And then I was also getting child support, like volunteer child support from my father's daughter at the time. It was like $100 a month. So $14 an hour, 35 to 40 hours a week, plus an extra $400 or $500 a month. Baby, you can tell me nothing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I had all of that up literally up into the week I moved to Atlanta. I moved there, I think it was like August the 6th. I moved there August the 6th, and it was a Thursday. Nonetheless, I moved there on a Thursday. I got my child support every Friday and my check every Friday. I
Mm-hmm.
moved there on a Thursday. I When Friday morning came, I heard nothing else from my baby father. I got no child support from him. And the job that I had as a visual merchandiser never came through. And when I say I moved because I had things in order, just literally for all of it to be taken away within 24 hours of getting somewhere where I was excited about being, because I knew I was going to thrive in my career even more here as an independent
Right.
stylist. Like for all of that to be taken away from me in 24 hours, I couldn't believe it. Talk about a chokehold. I was in a chokehold for real. But again, because of his vision, because of the faith, because of the character, the true core character that I that's been instilled within me growing up, I knew that everything was going to be okay. But I didn't prepare myself for the mental impact that it would have on my life. I just knew everything was going to be okay. So as I'm going on and on and on about my day and about my life, and using a few of my savings to take care of the bills and to take care of her and stuff like that, as time went on and the savings account got lower and faith started to dry up and emotions were starting to dry up, I chose to sink. And I was like, listen, I don't think I had a conversation with nobody, but I know in that moment I was just like, whatever, like, we here. I know I gotta take care of you. I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to do this. And that's just it. And so I wasn't intentional, like emotionally showing up in my daughter's life at all. And as years went on, I met this young lady who had, I'm laughing because you know the young lady, but I met this young lady and she introduced me to some of her friends in California. And one young lady that I met while in Cali, she was a new mom too. I think her daughter at the time was like 5 or 6 years old. She and I had a conversation. This young lady shared with me her story. And she said, I've been struggling with not imposter syndrome for with postpartum
Postpartum.
depression for a few years now. And now but recently I've come out of it. And her story, like, it was almost like I was looking at myself in the mirror. I was like, oh my gosh, you sound like me. Like, she was just like, I knew I had this little human to take care of. Everywhere I went, I looked to my left, I looked to my right, this little human was there. I'll take care of it. Y'all feed it, whatever. But I wasn't emotionally attached to my kid. And she had a daughter too. And I was just like, yo, I feel like I'm looking at myself in the mirror as she's telling this story. And in that moment, a light bulb went off. And that's when I realized, like, so that's what this is. This is what I've been feeling. And now that I know what I've been feeling, we got to do something about this. We got to change this. Like, if she could come out of it, I can come out of it. And so when I went back home to Atlanta, we were also moving here to DC. We tempted to live in DC. We tempted to live in Philadelphia. None of those places seemed to work out for us at the time. So then we transitioned and officially moved to Virginia. And I never forget, for my daughter's 5th birthday, I was so intentional about that birthday, baby. You couldn't tell me nothing. We just moved into our apartment. We had no furniture, because the furniture we had in Atlanta was furniture that belonged to my mother. So my mom took all that furniture back because my apartment was so small it couldn't fit it, right? My new apartment. So when we moved to Virginia, we had no furniture. I think I had a mattress I was sleeping on. I had a little lamp. I set that little mattress and lamp up so cute for us. But we had nothing else in that apartment. And I had a dresser. It's a dresser that I had since I was probably my daughter's age at the time. That dresser went with me. Girl, I set that dresser up in a corner. I went to go buy my baby a cake. I instead of buying a cake out of Walmart, I got one decorated for her because I wanted to be so intentional. I
Right.
decorated like I think it was a black Barbie cake for her. I got like a whole, girl, I was an event planner
Wow.
at this point. I done got pink and purple and white balloons. I got Barbie decor all over the place. I call up everybody, and their mama's like, hey, my baby's turning 5. I want y'all to come to her party. Where's the party? In our new empty apartment, but y'all got to come through. I still have videos of that day.
Yes.
And child, we were there. I set that cake up on that desk in that corner, and I did her hair so beautiful. If you guys go
Oh.
on my Instagram, you see a black and white photo of my daughter. Her hair was curled. That was probably my first time ever remembering to do my daughter's hair. And I put on a tutu. And I put her in the cutest little outfit, and I took photos on my phone. I was just so determined to be intentional in her life from that moment forward. So from that moment moving forward, every morning I did her hair. I brushed her teeth. I took her to school. I picked her up. I fed her. Like, I was just thriving more in her life and as a mom. And that was the first time in my life that I've ever did that as a mom, and I've ever did that for her. And that's when I knew that I was coming out of postpartum depression.
Yes, girl.
I was in a place of peace and
Yes.
prosperity and intentionality as a mom. And we've been rocking. We've been rocking ever since. And my daughter is 6 years later, so she's 11 now. Ever since, my daughter, she never took a school bus.
Wow.
I took her, and I took her to school every day. I picked her up from school every day. I have never missed a beat. Thank God for it. I never missed a beat in my kid's life. And I don't think that if God would have ordained my steps to meet that young lady and to hear her story, that I don't think I would have came out of postpartum depression the way that I did. But because God had his hands on my life, I was able to snap out of it, and I haven't missed a beat in my baby's life since. And I thank God for that, because the first 5 years are, they say those are the years where your child soaks up everything and your child really needs you. And I missed out on 5 years of her life. And I had to really have a real conversation with myself and ask myself, like, are you willing to miss out on another 5 years? Wow. And the answer was no. So here we are. And girl, we living our best freaking life. Now, if you can hold for me so I go get some tissue real fast, I would appreciate that.
Go on and get your tissue.
Thank you.
Oh. That was so beautiful. Thank you all for the hearts in the chat. I know so many women have stories like that, especially Black women, where they're going through postpartum, no one to really support them. And some women never come out of it. So hearing Ebony's story is just so inspiring. So inspiring for our community. Love it. And love that she's thriving with her beautiful daughter now. Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
You're back. I was not expecting that.
It was beautiful. I was just saying while you were gone, like, it's so many Black women who go through this postpartum depression and so much mental health, and some of them never come out. They never get the help. And so they're labeled as the disattached mom or the angry Black woman, and it's really they're going through something and they need help.
Absolutely.
I'm so happy you came out of that.
I think that was my first time ever talking about that story in a while. So forgive the tears, y'all. But
no need to apologize.
I say that to say postpartum depression is real. It's real. And no matter how cute you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter, you know, and the thing that contributes to it, as I share in that passage or in that quote, is that without the physical support, without the emotional support, right, from your family, and obviously even the one that you created this baby with or this child with, without that support, you will question, do I sink or do I swim? Because the postpartum depression are hormones that are already, like, they're developed as we become parents, right? As we become mothers, they're developed. So it's not like we can control them, like as if we can just, like, you know, tell it to stop. And it never happened. It's something that's inside of us, right? So you obviously, what you eat contributes to the depression. What you listen to, how you think, like your lifestyle, all those things contribute, but also your community can contribute to the postpartum depression. I say that to say it's a natural thing that happens, but how you go about life after giving birth
Right.
will talk to those hormones and tell those hormones, okay, let's rise up because she's not getting the support that she needs. She's not eating right. She's not doing right. Or let's settle down, guys, because she's actually getting the support she needs. She's actually eating right. She's actually doing right, right? And for me, because I did not have the support, the physical, the emotional support from my daughter's father, which is a primary care that any mother needs when giving birth or after giving birth. You need care from that spouse, right? Because you
Right.
created in the moment with that person, so you should be able to carry on with that. I didn't have that. Like I said, 24 hours after moving to Atlanta, it just all went away. And that's
Right.
what I believe. That's when I believe my postpartum depression started for me. So it's funny because I have conversations with moms all the time, especially like new moms, and that wants to go off because, unfortunately, but it's become a thing where after the mom gives birth, the father then disappears, and the father no longer is a part of the mother and the newborn's child life, right? And
Right.
so now these new mommies, they want to just go and move across country, do it all on their own, all that. And I'm like, listen, I'm here for it, sis. I'm all here for bad bitch attitude. Don't get me wrong. However, you must be around a village. You have to be
Right.
around a community. If it's a new community that you're intentional with building, then you go and you be around that community. It doesn't always have to be the parent, the other parent, and it doesn't always have to be your blood family, right? But you have to be around a community. And God's word, it says it takes a village to raise a child. You cannot raise that baby by yourself. You cannot. You can't. And
Right.
so I just say that to say, through my experience, I learned that, when it started, why it started. And I always encourage any new parent or just any parent in general, because even as the older they get, the more sufficient they become. But I still desire community with me and my daughter. I still desire
Yes.
her to have friends her age to go outside and play with. I still desire mother-daughter dates and things like that, right? So that the desire for community should never stop. It never comes to an end. But however, what I am saying is that in the beginning, when you first had that baby, do not just peel and leave your family or leave your friends or leave your tribe. You need a tribe to raise that child. You need a tribe so that when you need to go to sleep or when you need to go get a drink or when you need to go have me time, somebody else can take care of the baby. You can't do that on your own when you just up, jump, and move across the country. And if you think
Right.
you can, I don't wish this on nobody, but I guarantee you're going to experience postpartum depression. And that's not a fun playground to be on at all.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
thanks for
And
letting me
even
share that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and even more to that, like it's okay to say I can't do it all. I feel like a lot of times women feel like if I'm not doing everything, then like I'm not doing nothing. And it's
Yeah,
just that's not true.
it's not true. Like that's false. Um, that's a false stigma. And again, I think now there are a lot more resources out there for moms than it
Right.
was before. I had my baby 11 years ago. Like the resources were slim to none, right? And so I didn't take the classes. Like I said, as soon as I gave birth to her, they showed me like a 2-minute video and that was it. And it was just like, all right, here's your paperwork, you're out. And it's funny because to this day, like so it was a lot of things. Obviously, like I said, I wasn't really present in my daughter's life the first 5 years, right? But then after I started to be more intentional, my baby struggled for a while building character and it's small things such as like how she likes, like what type of clothes she likes to wear. Kids at the time were like getting on YouTube. Well, not a lot, but like, the YouTube era was beginning. I'm like, Reese, you do a lot of stuff in private. Let's put this stuff on YouTube. You're a smart kid, beautiful girl. Let's put this stuff on YouTube. The simplest thing as getting her to do an intro, Haley be like, no. She said, Mommy, let's just jump into it. I don't want to tell them my name. I don't want to introduce myself. So I think it's because she was just so shy. And she
Mm-hmm.
was also probably still trying to find herself. And because I wasn't present in her life the first 5 years to help her, right? Here she is at 5. She's almost like a 1-year-old all over again. So it was hard. We went through a really rough patch of just trying to get her to build character and personality and to express herself. And I thank God, I'm the parent. I thank God for TikTok, because I think TikTok has absolutely allowed my child to find herself and discover herself.
Right.
So to fast forward really quickly, she wasn't a part of any sport teams for a
Mm-hmm.
while, until probably like 2 years ago. She became a part of the gymnastics team, and now she did track last year. And
Oh.
so just through those journeys, right, of just motherhood, like now she wants to do her YouTube. She's recording her YouTube
Mm-hmm.
on her own. She's doing, got 1,000,001 TikTok. So y'all follow her. I don't know her name, so don't ask me. But I just say that to say, like, it's just important to be around a tribe of folks so that they can help you, you know. Oh no. So I say all that to say, right, when she became a part of track, I learned then that
Mm-hmm.
putting your child in an outdoor sport is ghetto. Keeping it real. Okay? Okay? And a summer sport is hot as hell. Ain't nobody telling me, baby, let me tell you what it's like being a track mom. Ain't nobody telling me all that stuff. Okay? Nobody telling me those things, right? So I then decided, I said, you know what? From my experience of just getting handed some paperwork and said, all right, good luck to you and your child. I said, I'm going to make me a pamphlet. I'm going to call this pamphlet
As you should.
F these ghetto kids, okay? Because these kids is ghetto. Parenting is ghetto. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I love my baby.
Okay, I don't love that title.
Okay, maybe not that title, but parenting is ghetto, okay? And I need these parents to know that I need to go to every hospital and give them a pamphlet and let them know
Yes.
what to and what not to put your kid in. Like we need resources. We need real
Right.
conversation pieces like that, because all they're doing is just helping us deliver this child and sending us on our way. But there are a lot of moms out there who don't know anything about motherhood because there's no pamphlet to it. And I want to be the one to start that chain and just let you know,
Yes.
like, if you decide to move, you're probably gonna suffer with postpartum depression. So sis, unpack your bags and stay at home. You know, like I want to be that woman to tell these women that. So that's just where I'm at with
And
that.
you are, and you can be, and you should be.
Thank you.
As we close, like what can we expect next from all things Ebony Westwood? How can we support you? Like, what should we be doing to stay connected?
Mm. I feel like this is a right or wrong answer, and I should be careful how I answer this,
No
because
pressure.
I got things going on. I have a lot of things going on. I don't want to just say like continue to follow me on my page, because it's easy.
Okay.
Um, mm, mm, I don't know, like, because without saying too much, I'm building a community at the moment, and I ain't think I would
Yes.
ever do this. I tell Alex all the time, I ain't trying to be responsible of nobody's life. I just want to share my story and go on about my life. I don't want to be responsible of nobody's life. But since earlier this week, it's again been deposited in my spirit to build a community for like-minded individuals, women-based community, like-minded individuals, entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, mamas, like all of us.
Period.
And where we come together and we're sharing resources, we're sharing real life experiences, and so much more. We haven't yet um, build a funnel, right? Like to grab your emails and to say, connect with us here, and,
Right.
because we have something coming soon. We haven't built that yet, but you guys follow me on Instagram. That's where I mostly show up at. In my links, right? I just shared this earlier, I think this week, that in my links, in my link tree, um, I have a link there that says "Speak with Ebony Westwood." That
Okay.
is like a 20-minute call that I exchange energy with someone over the phone, and it's not about me creating an offer for them or offering an offer. It's just 20 minutes where we can connect. And I have to create something like that because my life is crazy and I need time blocks basically.
Right.
So I have a link there that if you ever just want to connect with me on the phone, we can get on the phone. But just, go through that link where we can talk. And from there, I'm an in-person type of person. So if I can connect with you, if I can hear your voice, if I can see you in person, I'm going to forever remember you. And so when I
Mm.
start something or I have
Aw.
something going on or I come across an opportunity, you're one of the first people I'm thinking about. So I think the best way to, the long story short, right? Connect with me, y'all. Go to that link, schedule a 20-minute call. Especially if we never talked before, connect with me through that link so that we can have a conversation. Because once we connect and I remember your name or what you do or the service or product that you offer or where you're
Right.
trying to go in life, as long as I have some sort of connection and memory of you, from there, when I begin to build out communities or I come across different opportunities, you're one of the first people I think of. And I
Right.
think for me, that's just the way it works for me. And it's until we get a funnel going where we can collect emails and send out newsletters and weekly emails and things like that. Until then, just connect with me. So that link is there for everyone to use. And then, like I said, when the opportunity presents itself, you'll be the first person I think of, and I'll either shoot you a call or shoot you a text, and we'll go from there.
All right. We go hit up your link tree.
Yeah, that link tree, y'all. Speak with me.
Yes.
I look forward
All
to it.
right, Ebony. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bearing your heart and your soul,
Thank you.
and talking with us. I enjoyed it so much, and we gotta have you back. So,
Oh, yay. I'm with.
yes.
Oh my gosh, this girl's so crazy. Oh, sorry. I just got this DM. Anyway, okay, yes, thank you so much. I
Okay,
appreciate you.
bye, Ebony. We
All
love you.
right.
Bye bye.
Bye.